Good afternoon, everyone. The town of Hinton respectfully acknowledges that it is located on Treaty 6 territory in Métis Nation Region Number 4. These are the traditional territories and ancestral lands of Indigenous peoples, including the Plains Cree First Nations, Assiniboine, Winawak, Rocky Mountain First Nations, Stoney, Tsuut'ina, Nakota, Denisoulin, Saulteaux, Mountain Métis, Michif, and many other communities that continue to enrich the land on which the town of Hinton was established. And with that, I'd like to call this meeting to order at 4:01. Council, any additions or deletions to today's agenda? Administration.
Sir, thank you. Through you to the whole of council. Administration would request that we look at closed session item 13.1, financial reporting. And we are of the opinion this could be dealt with in open session. And if council would wish, we would seek to move that to action item 7.6.
Thank you, ICO Hanlon. Council, with that, I'll entertain a motion. Councillor Hawes.
Thank you. I'd like to move that we adopt the agenda for September 6th as amended, please.
Thank you, Councillor Hawes. Council, we have a motion on the floor. Any debate? Seeing none, I'll call to question. All those in favor? That is passed unanimously. That'll bring us to our council minutes for adoption. Council, any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion. Councillor Hawes.
I would like to move that we accept regular council meeting minutes for August 16th, 2022, and the committee of the whole meeting for August 23rd, 2022.
Thank you, Councillor Hawes. Again, council, we have a motion on the floor. Any debate, questions? Seeing none, I'll call to question. All those in favor? That is also passed unanimously. That'll bring us to our citizens minute with council. This is your opportunity. You have 1 minute. If you can please come forward, say your name and share your thoughts, concerns, positive, negative, and the floor is yours. Seeing none, that'll bring us to our delegations and presentations. We have one this afternoon. It's 5.1 College Road Sewer Flooding. Mr. Rush.
Evening, Council. I presented a letter to you in writing and you have it in your package. So rather than read it, I'll just give you the highlights. Is with the storm that was had, there was a double whammy, and many houses along Collinge had their sewers back come into the house. Some of them were to the description of the best is that when the people went down into the basement, there was water coming out of their toilets 3 to 4 feet above the toilet. And now this has damaged many of these houses. They're talking anywhere up to 3 or 4 months to get everything fixed, $20,000 to $70,000 worth of repairs, most of which is covered by insurance. But what we have found is that the insurance companies have stated to the people that if this ever happens again and you don't have a backflow check valve in your system, we won't insure you again. So the premise of the request on this is that we believe that the sewer line and the storm drains have been connected together in our area. Thus, when the big storm, the rain came down, overdid the sewer line and caused this backflow. So I talked to Winston, or I can't remember his last name, but anyways, about looking at the drawings for myself, and but what administration has started is an investigation into the sewer and storm drain and by an engineering firm. So our request was that the council or the town pay for the installation and the backup valves. This is all based on fact what the engineering company finds. If it is something that wasn't done correctly, then we would like to have that paid for. But we wanted to bring this to your attention, and so that while it goes onward, and at that time when the investigation is done, we'll results and decide from there. So that's basically what I wanted to tell you, and bring to your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rush. Obviously, this was an unprecedented storm for our community, but as you said, I think administration is looking in. I know Mr. Russo and ICO Hanlon are investigating this, as you said, and I think I speak for myself, but to find out what other municipalities are doing. I know there are rebate programs and things to pay for a portion of it, but I look forward to getting that information on understanding the logistics of what we're doing or not doing that can prevent this in the future. And ICO Hanlon, did you have any additional comments since you've been dealing with this?
Thank you, sir. Through you, and certainly we thank Mr. Rush for joining us here this afternoon. At this point, we have undertaken on the part of the town of Hinton's diligence an engineering review of the area here. We do understand there may be some historical issues related to the engineering, both of the sanitary and the storm sewers in these areas. We are going to come back with a report to council at a later date. Backflow prevention devices may form a part of a solution and a fix in this area. We do understand that. We appreciate the residents' willingness to work with us and allow us the time to complete this review. I guess my only comment to those here and anybody listening at home, please, if you experienced damage directly related to this event, make sure that we know of this. So contact the town, let us know your contact information, and we'll be in touch with individuals once we have finalized a response from the town of Hamilton.
Thank you, ICO Hanlon. Council, anything further for Mr. Rush? Seeing none, again, thank you for coming forward, sharing this with us. Please stay in touch with council and administration so we can find a solution for this. And again, hoping things get to a better place. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
That'll bring us to our closed session portion. This should be a quick one. It is item 6.1 BBOC Indigenous member application, and I will entertain a motion to go into closed session. Councillor Magoon.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd like to move that council go into closed session.
Thank you, Councillor Magoon. Council, all those in favor? That is passed unanimously. Thank you very much. We will remain in this room over there. Hello, everyone. I'd like to reconvene this meeting at 4:12. That'll bring us to our action items for this evening, 7.1 BBOC appointment. ICO Hanlon.
Thank you, sir. At this point, I'll turn the floor over to Heather Way.
Thank you, CIO Hanlon, through to part of council this evening. You have just reviewed an application that we have for a vacant position on the Beaver Boardwalk Community Oversight Committee. We received, this is a position that's been vacant since the committee's inception. So we are quite excited to have an applicant for the role of Indigenous representative, and I'll accept any questions at this time if there are any.
Thank you, Ms. Way. Council, any questions? Seeing none, if we are ready to vote, we will hand it off to you. And the voting is open. Voting is now closed. And council, any questions or a direction to appoint? Counselor Hawes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to move that council appoint William, and I apologize if I pronounce it wrong, but Deschaluk as the Indigenous representative to the Beaver Boardwalk Committee Oversight, Community Oversight Committee.
Thank you, Counselor Hawes. Council, we have a motion on the floor. Any debate or questions? Seeing none, I'll call to question. All those in favor? That is passed unanimously. Council, anything further for 7.1 this afternoon? Seeing none, thank you, administration. That'll bring us to our item 7.2, Land Acknowledgement Policy CL 1110. ICO Hanlon.
Thank you, Mayor. Through you to the whole of council. We're on page 13 of your agenda package. An awful lot of work, both from council and administration, has gone into the land acknowledgement policy. And with that, I will turn this over to Heather Mark, and Heather will take us through this report.
Good afternoon, council. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to this item. Members of council will recall that the August 23rd Committee of the Whole meeting, during which the draft land acknowledgement policy 1110, was directed for delivery as presented before council. Following this preliminary discussion, it was understood that members of council had the opportunity to conduct further stakeholder engagement regarding the language of the statement attached as Appendix 1 to the policy. This afternoon, administration is seeking final approval of the policy and is eager to implement the revised land acknowledgement statement organizationally. Following the resolution of this item, opportunities remain in existence for council and administration to further the key principle of inclusive from the current strategic plan. It is understood that any such statement, despite forming part of municipal legislation, remains living as administration continues to welcome external feedback. Thank you.
Thank you, administration. Council, Councilor Magoon.
Thank you, your worship. I'd like to move the council accept the draft land acknowledgement policy CL 1110 as presented.
Thank you, Councilor Magoon. Council, we have a motion on the floor. Any debate, questions? Councilor Hawes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll be in support of this, and I want to just thank first administration and Ms. Mark for this work that she's done on this, and to the councilors as well that reached out to our community members. But I'm very pleased with the current land acknowledgement that we're accepting here. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Councilor Hawes. For myself, I echo the same sentiments as Councilor Hawes. And as Ms. Mark said, I think this being active gives us the opportunity in the near future, long-term future, to revise this and update this the best we can with feedback from the community. But very, very pleased with where it's at right now. Council, anything further before I call this to question? Seeing none, I'll call to question that council accept the draft land acknowledgement policy CL 1110 as presented. Council, all those in favor? That is passed unanimously. Council, anything further for this item? Seeing none, thank you, administration. That will bring us to 7.3, appointment of designated officers bylaw number 1139, ICO Hanlon.
Thank you, your worship. Through you to all of council. We're on page 19 of your agenda package, and the title being resolution revoking a designated officer and appointing a designated officer. I wish to thank our corporate services director, who spent a fair amount of time researching this and brought this item forward. And I will turn this over to Alicia at this time. Thank you.
Worship, members of council, and the opportunity to speak. This item is coming to you and it will be in two parts. Sorry about that. Today is the essential item today is the appointment of myself as the designated officer, as we have a number of payment instruments that we need to be able to keep flowing through and ensure all the signing is for the accounts. Also, in researching this, it was discovered there was two individuals still acting as appointed under the bylaw who are no longer found. So it's taking those individuals off. And then you will see this item for a second time in a future meeting, because if we simply change one of the sections of the current bylaw, then it acts as giving the designation to the individuals who hold those positions with the town, and we're not going to be seeking a resolution from council each time.
Thank you, administration. Council, I have Councillor Magoon.
Thank you, worship. I'd like to make the motion that in accordance with the appointment of designated officer bylaw number 1139, council revokes the appointment of Miss Carla Fox to the designated officer position of corporate services director, and in accordance with the appointment of designated officer bylaw number 1139, council revokes the appointment of Miss Terry Williams to the designated officer position of legislative clerk, and in accordance with appointment of designated officer bylaw number 1139, council appoints Miss Alicia Bourbeau to the designated officer position of corporate services director.
Thank you, Councillor Magoon. Council, we have a motion on the floor. Any debate or questions? Only comment, thank you, Ms. Bourbeau, for starting and then dealing with this and cleaning this up. And obviously, I'll be in support of this. Council, any further comments, questions? Seeing none, I'll just simply call this to question. Council, all those in favor? That is passed unanimously. Council, anything further for 7.3? Seeing none, again, thank you, administration. Moving on to 7.4, 2023 budget process policy, ICO Hanlon.
Thank you, Mayor. Through you to all of council. We're on page 24 of your agenda package. This is a budget 2023 timeline and expectations report. It's an information item. Again, we'd like to update council. This was promised through the delivery of the 2022 budget. And I do appreciate that our Director of Corporate Services has completed this and brought this forward here today. And I'll turn this over to Alicia and she will take you through this report. Thank you.
Thank you, ICO Hanlon. Your worship, members of council, we have prepared for you an information item to allow council to have some expectations of what the 2023 budget season looks like. Budgets have already started. We have spent the month of August meeting with all of the budget holders for the town, refreshing their proficiency, if you will, on the software that we're using and answering any questions. There's been templates set up. So budget has been well underway for approximately a month now. In September, we will be following through with presentations from the different agencies who are funded in various forms from the town of Hinton, and we staggered those so that it's not overwhelming all of members of council in one meeting. We have the deadline for the submissions to come in as October 12th. That's when our real work starts. And the managers can kind of have a little bit of a breather. Operational business cases will be for council again in a very organized fashion. So to hopefully work on getting some more proficiency in having council understand the different lines and what the overall impacts are. And then November and December, we're anticipating full meetings with council with the budget in its entirety presented and passing in December of 2022. We do have one item and it's coming up later regarding some of our other funding, but I'll talk about that more. And then there was a colorful handout that I need to thank communications for doing as hopefully a one-stop so that you can always see where we're going.
Thank you, Ms. Bourbeau. Council, I have Councillor Hawes.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Bourbeau. I guess the question I have, and it may or not be able to answer it at this point, but one might be, we suspect the report on the service level review in this timeline.
Administration.
Thank you, sir. Through Councillor Haas to the whole of council. We will have an opportunity to speak with the consultant a bit later. He'll be joining us in our closed session item. I just having been off last week, haven't had a chance to touch base with TSI for an update.
And if I may, the consideration for a potential workshop around that also a possibility, so that it is an addition to, but I don't know if that's what administration is, but I'm hoping from my perspective, the sooner we get this information going into this process, the better. And if a workshop is necessary to understand it, I'd be in favor of that. So thank you.
Councillor, ICO Hanlon, any comments regarding that?
Sir, through you to Councillor Haas, I would be in full agreement, provided that the report comes, and certainly the intent of the report was that it would inform the 2023 budget. And I believe that a workshop where we take a look at the findings of the service level review would be an important step.
Thank you, ICO Hanlon. Councillor Haas, Council, no motion yet. Any further questions, direction? What would we like to do with this item? Councillor Haas.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to accept, or the council accept the budget 23 timeline and the expectations report for information. If I can speak to it, really appreciate this. We're going into it early. I'm happy to see that we're seeing the civic agencies earlier on. I know we mentioned that in our community of the whole, I believe last one, but crossing fingers, December is the date. I am definitely looking forward to, and I'm hoping to hear good news from our report from TSI, because it is a big part of this that I feel that if anything might delay it somewhat, but I think it's an important part of this. So, but thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Haas. Council, we have a motion on the floor. Any further debate, questions? Seeing none, I'll call to question that council accept the budget 2023 timeline and expectations report for information. Council, all those in favor? That is passed unanimously. Council, anything further for 7.4? Seeing none, thank you, administration. And that brings us to 7.5, Intermunicipal Development Plan Bylaw Amendment number 1133-1, first reading, ICO Hanlon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We are on page 27 of your agenda package. This is an amendment to the Town of Hinton Intermunicipal Development Plan. And with that, I'd like to hand this over to the author, Ms. Walker. And our planner will take us through this.
Excellent. Thank you, ICO Hanlon and members of council. The Town of Hinton and Yellowhead County adopted an intermunicipal development plan back in 2019. The plan addresses strategic growth and development between the two municipalities that share a boundary. Yellowhead County recently updated their land use bylaw and identified changes to the IDP, including land use districts, some policy updates, and language and clarification updates. Both municipalities must update their IDP to be consistent and compliant with the Municipal Government Act. Yellowhead County has given first reading to their IDP on August 23rd, 2022. Both municipalities would see their bylaw amendment in place by October 2022. Administration is recommending that council give the intermunicipal development plan number 1133-1 first reading this evening to initiate the public hearing process, and that council schedule a public hearing for October 4th in the council chambers to hear public comments on the bylaw. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Walker. Council, any questions, debate, direction? What would we like to do with this? Councillor Stashik.
Thank you, Mayor Michaels. I'd like to move that council give the intermunicipal development plan bylaw number 1133-1 first reading, and that council schedule a public hearing on October 4th, 2022 at 4:00 p.m. in the council chambers to hear public comments on bylaw number 1133-1.
Thank you, Councillor Stashik. Council, we have a direction on the floor. Any debate or questions? And seeing none, I'll simply call this to question. Council, all those in favor? That is passed unanimously. Council, anything further for 7.5? Again, thank you, administration. That'll bring us to our last action item, 7.6, which was previously 13.1, the financial reporting closed, no longer closed session. ICO Hanlon.
Thank you. their current 2023 budget process. Sorry, I noticed this. So I'm going to ask our Director of Corporate Services to take us through this and answer any questions that council may have regarding this matter.
Thank you, your worship, members of council. This item is before you as, again, wanting to ensure that we have a much more fluid budget season for 2023. We wanted to get council's agreement that you'd be willing to look at just a portion of the cost share line items in advance of the entire budget document. We want to be respectful of Yellowhead County's request to get the numbers early. We also want to meet our contractual obligation of October 15th for trading of the numbers. And we're looking for direction from council and to enable us to do that.
Thank you, administration. Council, any directions, questions? Councillor Stashik.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Not a direction, but a question. There was some supporting documentation that council received previously because this was going to be a closed session item. So just a question to administration, since it's now an open session, how is that information going to be communicated to the public?
Administration.
I will have to read. I'm drawing a blank on what the supporting documentation was. My apologies.
I can speak to it. What we usually do, the report that was sent for closed session on Friday will actually get attached to the minutes, to tonight's minutes.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, administration and Councillor Stashik. Council, any further questions, debate, direction? Councillor Haas.
I guess more of a question. So how is this different than what we normally do? Is this a different part of the process? I guess, if you could walk me through that a little bit, because I don't recall this in the past, and I'm just curious what's different this year.
Administration.
Council, the only thing I can speak to, having not been here in prior years, is I believe there was an exchange of information for the estimated cost share of the programs was done outside of the budget process, if you will. So it was numbers exchanged provided to Yellowhead County in advance of the entire budget process. We're wanting to make sure that our council sees those numbers prior to Yellowhead County putting them into the budget. We wanted to ensure that we didn't run into a situation where you ran into a counselor from Yellowhead County and they were asking you about what the program was going to entail or why there was an increase on the program. And so we were just doing this to protect our own interests first and make sure that our council had all the information.
Okay, if I may. So are we also going to be getting reports from Yellowhead County as well on some matters? Specifically, an example I'm thinking of is the airport. I believe in our agreement, we're supposed to get financial updates on the airport and what the Yellowhead County is spending. Is that going to also be brought forward by Yellowhead County to us as one example? I'm sure there's others as well, but is that part of the process?
Through the chair to Councillor Haas. Yes, all those pieces are going to be tied in so that we have a much more organized process of reporting those numbers. I have been in contact with my counterpart at Yellowhead County, so that initial relationship has been established. We have not got through all of the different components.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Haas. Councillor Magoon.
Just a quick comment, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate the transparency. Administration, thanks for letting us know before that back and forth and that exchange of information with Yellowhead County occurs. Because you're right, it would be awkward if we got into a conversation and didn't know something like that. So just thanks for thinking of us. And with that, I'd like to make the recommended action that council approves the delivery of preliminary financial reporting on cost shared programs to Yellowhead County.
Thank you, Councillor Magoon. Council, we now have a motion on the floor. Any further debate or questions? Seeing none, I'll call to question that council approve the delivery of preliminary financial reporting on cost shared programs to Yellowhead County. Council, all those in favor? That's passed unanimously. Anything further for our last action item this evening, council? Seeing none, that'll bring us to our reporting. Again, thank you, administration. And I will begin to my closest left, Councillor Hawes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Not a lot to report. I just got from one of our board members, the library had the summer reading program had their final get together. Apparently it was very well attended. Unfortunately, the weather did not permit for the bouncy houses and everything else that they had planned for the outdoor, but brought it inside in the library last weekend. And according to one of the board members, we had 59 young people there, had a lot of fun. And so that was a very successful event for the library and our community as well. So I want to thank the staff for the organizing of that, and also the board members for participating and volunteering their time as well. Other than that, yeah, that's all I have to report at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hawes. Councillor Magoon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Nothing to report.
Thank you, Councillor Magoon. And Councillor Stashik.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have nothing to report.
Thank you, Councillor Stashik, and no committee updates for myself either, which will bring us to our ICAO, Mr. Hanlon.
Thank you, sir. Through you to all of council. I took a week off and it was great. It was definitely needed. And so I do not have much to report at this time, just getting caught up. I do appreciate the team here. They took good care of the place while I was gone and prepared an agenda package. And here we are 20 to 5 going into closed session. That's pretty good. So
thank you, ICO Hanlon. That'll bring us to our information item. We have one today, and it's the Rail Safety Week is to be held across Canada from September 19th to the 25th of 2022. It is in the public's interest to raise citizens' awareness of the dangers of ignoring safety warnings at level crossings and trespassing on rail property to reduce avoidance deaths, injuries, and damages caused by incidents involving trains and citizens. Operation Lifesaver is a public-private partnership whose aim is to work with the public, rail industry, governments, police services, media, and others to raise rail safety awareness. CN has requested City Council or Town Council adopt this resolution in support of its ongoing efforts to raise awareness, save lives, and prevent injuries in communities, including here our municipality of Hinton. It is hereby resolved to support National Rail Safety Week to be held from September 19th to the 25th of this year, 2022. And with that, Council, that'll bring us to our correspondence for this afternoon, 10.1. Any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept for information. Councillor Hawes.
I'd like to move that we accept council information package for August 24th, 2022, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hawes. Council, we have a motion on the floor. Seeing none, I'll call to question. All those in favor? That is passed unanimously. Council, any notices of motions? Seeing none, that'll bring us, ICO Hanlon.
thank you, sir. Sorry, just before we were to move into closed session, I did want to bring council's attention to page 68 of 70. This is in your information package, and it is a request that was received by administration on the possibility of waiving a tax penalty. And I apologize that it hasn't come otherwise, but it was forwarded as correspondence to council, and administration would be seeking some sort of direction, even if there's nothing further at this time, that can be communicated back to the applicants.
Thank you, ICO Hanlon. Council, any comments? For myself, nothing in the sense that we'll treat this like we've treated other ones was my indication of just passing a motion to accept for information.
Thank you.
Thank you, administration. Council, now that'll bring us to our discussion item. We have one regarding 12.1, September 20th, regular council meeting, potentially moving to September 19th as the Alberta Municipalities Convention commences from the 21st to the 23rd of this year. ICO Hanlon.
Thank you, sir. Through you to all of council. I do understand that in the past, council has occasionally rescheduled a meeting. The Alberta Municipalities Conference is the 21st, the 22nd, and 23rd of September, allowing for travel time to Calgary. This makes it difficult, or we believe it may make it difficult to prepare and hold the council meeting on Tuesday, the 20th. So we would be seeking a motion to reschedule to Monday, September 19th, I believe at the same time.
Thank you, ICO Hanlon. Council, I have Councillor Hawes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I'd like to move that we reschedule the regular council meeting to September 19th, 2022 to accommodate the Alberta Municipalities Convention from September 21st to 23rd.
Thank you, Councillor Hawes. Is that wording?
Yep, that'll be fine.
Perfect. Thank you, Councillor Hawes. Council, we have a motion on the floor. Any debate? Questions? Seeing none, I'll call to question that council move the regular council meeting from Tuesday, September 20th, 2022 to Monday, September 19th, 2022 at 4 p.m. Council, all those in favor? That is passed unanimously. Anything further for our discussion item? And if not, I'll entertain a motion to go to closed session. Councillor Hawes.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, if you just have a moment of time, just real brief. Wanted to speak about what happened this weekend and condolences to those that are living in Saskatchewan currently right now. I just happened to be in Saskatchewan while that was all happening, and the anxiety that that province was facing and still facing along with ours as well. I just want to say, very sorry for what has happened. I want to thank also administration for acknowledging with the our flags half-mast, just due to the incident and events that have occurred in Saskatchewan. So just wanted to throw that out there. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hawes. Council, anything further? If not, I'll entertain a motion to go to closed session. Councillor Hawes.
Move we go into closed session.
Thank you, Councillor Hawes. Council, we have a motion on the floor. All those in favor? That is passed unanimously. Thank you very much. Direction. Councillor Hawes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to move that council accepts the town of Hinton service level review update presented by administration as information, and that council authorizes the reallocation of $812,000 and 800. I can't say that number. 812,800 from the town of Hinton's operating reserves restricted surplus to the 2022 operating budget.
Thank you, Councillor Hawes. Council, we have a motion on the floor. Any debate, questions? Seeing none, I'll call to question. All those in favor? That is passed unanimously. Council, anything further for this item? And if not, I'll entertain a motion. Councillor Magoon.
Like to move that we go back into closed session.
Thank you, Councillor Magoon. Council, all those in favor? Thank you very much. So, Nikia, can we keep you for 2 minutes?
Like a live stream.